Hello everyone, I am Deepthi. I am currently doing my MSc Data Science at Chennai Mathematical Institute. I have started a course on machine learning and today is my first lecture and today's topic is Introduction to Machine Learning. Today's agenda. First we'll learn what is exactly meant by machine learning and there are different types of machine learning, that is supervised learning, unsupervised learning and reinforcement learning. We'll learn about these things in brief and later on in the next coming videos you'll learn more about the algorithms in depth. Let's start our class. Nowadays, one of the most curious and difficult jobs is to predict future. And it's not easy, but we do this every day in our lives so easily. Suppose before you sleep, you set an alarm for the next day, at what time you have to get up, looking into that, like at what time you want to reach the office. Based on that, you set an alarm. This is kind of prediction. You just estimate how much time it requires for you to do your personal work or to reach the office in time. So you just adjust everything and try to put the alarm, and that too in seconds. You do this so easily. Why is it so? Because you have lot of data, that means previous past experience. Maybe you must be going to your office since last 10 years and you have lot of data in your brain, that maybe every day you will be setting an alarm and you'll check whether it is correct or not, kind of. And you have, since you have lot of data, that means a past experience, you're easily able to predict it. Nowadays, in this digital world, the data has been increasing very rapidly, and with this data, we could do many things. Like we can find out patterns in it, and we could predict future, and we could bring out beautiful insights from it. So working on this large data, like it's not feasible for a human to think each and every time. So if we are able to teach the same thing whatever our brain does to the machine, then our lives would be more simpler. So in the same, machine learning is nothing but teaching the machine to do what our brain is doing actually. So first, the basic requirement is the previous data. Only because we have the data, we are able to do some kind of processing in the brain. Same in the for the machine also. First, we need to have a previous past data, and this previous data you feed it to the machine, and whatever processing is done in our brain is nothing but the algorithm that we write. What processing is done, that we feed it to the machine in the form of an algorithm. So once we teach the machine how to work on the data, it brings out a model to us. So if we feed our current input to this model, then we'll get the predicted output. This is actually what we are trying to mimic our brain to the machine. Machine learning is nothing but just teaching the machine to think like us. You can say like that. Okay, so based on the data availability, there are like each of the problem statements come under one of the learnings. First one is supervised learning. In the suppose the whatever data you have has both inputs and outputs. That means we'll take the same example. You want to reach the office, suppose at some time X, then at what time you have to get up. So that is the problem statement. Then input features will be on what factors does your time to set depends. Something what all factors, like degree of importance, that means at what time like at what is the importance of your job. Like suppose if there is a meeting, you have to go 1 hour early, like you'll plan such a way that you'll go 1 hour early. If it is not that much important, it's like regular office, then you won't be that much particular. If you're 5-10 minutes late, there is no problem. So it depends on degree of importance, at what time you want to go to office, and time taken for your personal work, and what is the time of travel. So these all are the dependent factors on what time you have to set. So these are known as the input variables, that is nothing but feature variables. And time, and what you wanted to predict is nothing but the target variable, that is nothing but time. You want to predict time, at what time, what is the time you want to set an alarm. So time is the output variable that you wanted to predict. Previously, what is the past available data? That is your past experiences. That means what at what time you have set the alarm yesterday. So that before yesterday. And so what are your past data you have? In that you have both inputs and outputs both. So then if at all your data past data available contains both the input features and the output variable, then it comes under supervised learning. Got it? Okay. Based on the type of target variable you are predicting, your problem statement comes under either regression or classification. Here, if at all suppose your target variable is a continuous variable, that means suppose here you wanted to predict time, right? So if time can be of 5:30, 5:35, 5:31, 5:32, that means there are various number of outcomes. There are no constant number of outcomes. You have many number of outcomes. So then a variable is known as continuous variable. If at all your target variable is continuous, then that comes under regression problem. And if suppose your target variable is discrete, that means you have a fixed number of outcomes. Suppose whether you want to go to office tomorrow or not. If suppose that is a question, then you have only two outcomes, that is either yes or no. So whenever your number of outcomes is a constant, like you know what is the number of outcomes, then it is known as a discrete variable. So suppose if your problem statement in your problem statement the target variable is discrete, then that problem comes under classification problem. There are various algorithms to solve regression problems like linear regression, decision tree regression, etc. We'll look into it in later videos in detail. And for classification also there are various algorithms like logistic regression, decision tree classifier, support vector machine, k nearest neighbors, all these things. And few just for a better understanding, I have put some more examples. Let's say what is the temperature going to be tomorrow. That should be a regression problem because temperature can be of any number. It's continuous variable. And suppose if your problem is statement is like will it be cold or hot tomorrow, then your target variable has only two outcomes, that is either cold or hot. So that comes under classification. Fine. So this is what the supervised learning is. Next, it is not necessary that all the time you have the complete set of data. Sometimes there are predictions where you actually don't predict the target variable, but you want some form of output. Suppose, for example, if you say your company has the employees' details, like their personal details, their skills, interests, and salaries, all this kind of thing, and it wants to bring out some kind of useful thing out of it. Suppose suppose the problem statement is like this: the company wants maybe some four types of people in its office. Like it want to segregate everyone into four groups such that each group have like-minded people so that they can work together for some kind of thing. Suppose if this is the problem statement, here if you see there is no target variable. Like it is in the as you see in the previous supervised learning, there is no target variable that we have to predict time, age, or something like that. But here we want the output to be in some form. That means here in this problem statement you want the output to be in clusters. If you take the same example, here our input features is the personal details, skills, interests, and salary, and we try to put them in the form of groups as a clusters. And this type of problems comes under unsupervised learning. So whenever your past data availability has only feature variables and there is no target variable, but you want to predict some form of output, then it comes under unsupervised learning. There are various forms of unsupervised learning. First thing is clustering that we have discussed. Just for a better understanding, if you see this, if suppose this is the input variable, here the data is not labeled. That means here this is star and this is square and this is triangle. But while feeding it to the machine, we are not telling that this is star and this is square or this is triangle. We just dump this all data into the machine, and it does some algorithm that what we write, and it finally forms clusters. That means it shows that these all are it doesn't say that this is star, but it says that these all are of one type and these all are of one type. So it forms 4 clusters. If you compare with the supervised learning, in supervised learning, everywhere it says that this is star and this is square and this is triangle. And once we put into the model, we say, if you give some rectangle as an input, then it will say that it is a rectangle. So it will give a name to it. But here it just forms clusters and says that these all are of one kind. I hope you got it right. So in unsupervised learning, not only clustering, we have different forms. Suppose sometimes data is very much huge and you wanted to reduce the dimensions for simplicity. If you see an example of a Netflix, okay, there we try to predict ratings and we try to do recommendation systems. So at that point of time, what happens, you need not use the complete data, because there are maybe 2 people who have the same interest and they both must have written like they both must have given same ratings. So we don't need to have both of them, one person is enough. So it tries to reduce the features, so that this also comes under unsupervised learning. And also anomaly detection. Anomalies detection is nothing but the fraud detection. Suppose if you see in banks, if suppose there is some new kind of transaction, suppose if you say, okay, today morning I have done a transaction of 10,000 in India, and by the in the afternoon if I do the transaction in some USA, then that is a something like anomaly. It's like outlier. It's completely, we cannot say that how come, it is not possible, right? So that kind of fraud detection also comes under this unsupervised learning. And the association rules are nothing but see market basket analysis. That also I'll teach in the later videos, but you just put it in mind that all this comes under unsupervised learning. Okay. The next one. Till now we have seen that some kind of data is available to us. In the supervised learning, we have both the target and feature variables, and in unsupervised, we have at least feature variables. But in reinforcement learning, suppose we don't have any data and we learn on our own. Suppose like you have joined the office very recently and you're new joining, then it would be complete blank to you. You don't have previous data. What do? You try to do some work and you'll see whether boss give a reward to you or give a punishment. If he's accepting, yeah, you're doing good, then you go in the same manner. If suppose he is not satisfied, then you try to change your path. So you learn from the environment. So when you are put it in a new environment, then you try to move into one path, and you see if it is like if you are rewarded for that or not. If you are rewarded, you'll move in the same path. If you are punished, then you'll take an other turn. So that's what we try to do with the machine also. This type of problems comes under reinforcement learning. In the reinforcement learning, it is compulsory that you have an agent. Agent is nothing but it's you, that you are put it in an environment, that is your office, and you will do some action. Either you talk in some way, and maybe if the interpreter, that is your boss, will either reward you or punish you for this action. Then based on that you try to give another action. That means each and every action of yours keeps changing. Maybe your present action will depend on the previous action, but if you see in the other, this is what the difference between the other learnings and the reinforcement learning. Previously the all the data we have is independent, like whatever records we have, all those are independent of each other. But here our single first record is is second, like whatever the present action is dependent on the previous action. Based on that, whether it is reward or punish, you try to do it. So this type of problems comes under reinforcement learning. Generally this is used in gaming, AI, artificial intelligence for playing games. So this type of example, like applications it has. For better understanding, I'll give another example. So if you see, suppose this is the game and this is the robot, and its target is to reach this diamond, and in between you have obstacles, that is fires. First what it does, it doesn't have any data available with it. It is put into a new environment. Here the robot is the agent, the new environment is the game, and here reward is the diamond and fire is the punishment. Okay, so first what it does, it tries to move in one direction. Suppose it has moved to right, then it will get a punishment. Then it learns, okay, if I move to right, it gives a punishment, so I shouldn't move it that. So it comes back and then it will try to move for up. So once it moves up, it doesn't either get a reward or punishment, so it continues. It's not getting any punishment, right? So it continues. It tries to move maybe forward, and it sees, then it sees like no punishment, so it moves. Then it tries to move in this way, then it looks at it has a punishment, so it will come back. Then it understands I shouldn't move in that way, so it will move this way. So like that, once it moves, it tries to somehow, after many iterations, it tries to learn and goes to the diamond in an optimized way. Once it has done various iterations based on the less amount of steps, like optimization problem, you can say, it tries to reach the diamond in an optimized way. It finally learns. So this is called as reinforcement learning. So finally what you have to take is machine learning based on the availability of the data. There are various types: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. And you should see at what time you have to use which one. Basically whenever you have complete data, that means a labeled data, both input and output, then you blindly go to supervised learning, and you based on the target variable, you try to pick whether it is regression or classification problem. And once you fix suppose it's a classification problem, then you try to pick up the algorithms from the classification problem. Then suppose your data has only input variables, that means it has only the data, and you want to bring out useful insights from it. Based on that, you select one of the algorithm that are available for unsupervised learning. Then if suppose there is no data for you itself and you have to learn on your own, then you have to go for reinforcement learning, and there are various algorithms for this also. So this is just pause your video and look at this figure, and it has the complete like all the examples, just for your understanding. Just look at this. This is the end of the lecture 1. So in the coming lecture I'll talk about linear regression. So that is the continuation of this lecture. So I hope you people understood what I have taught. Please do visit my website, and thank you so much. Happy learning.